Hello everyone! Today I'll be sharing with you a guide for patient. I was scrolling on YouTube and noticed there hasn't really been any guides for him since release. I want to section this guide into 3 parts, which I'll add timestamps to in the description. 1. Builds, Personas. 2. Best spawns. 3. Hook tips plus tricks. So, without further ado,
let's get into the guide.
First things first, persona traits. Since eemull is a very versatile unit, you have a lot of options here. Personally, I most commonly bring borrowed time plus broken windows. Because the hunter can cancel eemull's hook, sometimes it is best to bring the persona trait cold. This trait allows you to see when the hunter is within 36 meters behind you, which gives you time to prep for hooks so you don't get canceled out of them. Here's an example. The red arrow tells me the hunter is close behind me, so I can hook away accordingly. Sometimes in ranked, if there is no dedicated rescuer, I'll opt to bring Tide Turner. This is pretty straightforward, as patient is a viable rescuer and can safely get to and from the rocket chair. Lastly, flywheel is also viable on patient. I might bring it depending on what hunter I'm facing. However, I still prefer windows as it feels more consistent for me. And also, I don't really recommend bringing full kite on patient. I feel like his kit makes him a strong enough kiter, so it's always best to bring borrowed time. Now that we've covered what traits to bring, let's move on to the next part of our guide. This section is mostly for people who want to become sufficient with patient in ranked mode, as there's no area selection in quick match. Area selection is only available for people high mammoth and up, but this knowledge is good for anyone. First, let's start with arguably his strongest map, which is none other than Moonlit River Park. Here's the layout of this map for spawn selection. On this map, 9 times out of 10, patient will spawn in one specific location. I'll go ahead and show you what a typical spawn looks like. Let's say there's a patient, mercenary, lawyer, and psychologist on your team. You'll probably spawn like this. I won't go into detail about spawns for everyone, as this is just meant to be a patient guide. But to briefly summarize, your rescuer will always spawn in the most dangerous locations on the map, while your decoder will spawn in the safest location. As for everyone else, they will spawn in other kiting areas. Now, patient will almost always spawn 4th stop, as this is his strongest kiting area. Any hunter chasing a patient at 4th stop is basically asking to get 3 cipher kited, and you'll see why very shortly. But first, let's continue with his best spawn selections. On Arms Factory, assuming it's the same team comp, your spawns may look something like this. Your decoder spawns factory, your rescuer spawns middle, and everyone else spawns accordingly. Particularly, on this map, patient is very strong in the sandbags location. And once again, chasing a patient, or anyone for that matter, in sandbags is just asking to lose the match. There are many walls and windows for patient to abuse, which makes it incredibly strong for him. However, you may also give this spawn to psychologist, as she has less kiting potential and patient can still perform well in the shack area. On Sacred Heart Hospital, your spawns will look like this. We've already established why we spawn this way, so I won't bore you with the details again. Let's just continue on with our spawns, shall we? So, on Red Church, you'll spawn like this. Red Carpet is a pretty weak area, so what you can do as patient is use a hook to transition to Graveyard, and from there, you can play around in God Kite, which is the strongest area on the map, and no hunter will have a fun time chasing you there. Lakeside is another pretty strong map for patient. You'll almost always spawn Small Boat, which has a lot of potential if you take first kite. There are many good hook tricks on this map as well that you can take advantage of, but we'll cover all that in the next section. For now, let's continue with spawns. I've decided to take away names, just to make it a little more ambiguous, as these spawns apply to more than just this specific team comp. There's not much to say here. It's pretty standard spawns. But again, Patient does have good hook areas on this map. Now for another one of Patient's best maps, Ever Sleeping. There are many different spawns for this map as well, but this is just a standard one. As Patient on this map, you can transition from two-story to graveyard and back. His hook locations on this map are extremely strong, and I'll show you the best spots soon. This map is also pretty standard. However, in my opinion, this map isn't strong for him. Of course, there are still good hook spots, but there's a lot of open space and not much to hook onto in some areas. Now that we've discussed spawns, let's move on to the fun part. All the best tips and tricks for Patient. Let's get into the important do's and don'ts. So, that covers the do's and don'ts for eemull. You may be wondering why I didn't share clips for the final tip, but it's because now I'll be showing you hook locations for every map. So let's start off with Moonlit. That's all the best hook spots I know. A couple things to note, however. The positioning of your hooks is important. A couple of the tricks I showed are hard and require perfect positioning. Also, the place you land is dependent on your camera angle, not your joystick. So make sure to look in the direction you want to land. Another thing, when the hook is white, it means you will jump off the wall. But if it's yellow, it means you will vault over the obstacle. Those are all my tips and tricks for Patient. As a former A badge and current B badge, eemull, I really love his play style, and I think he's super underrated. So I hope this video inspires someone to pick up Patient. And if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.